Ambassador Veltharuk of the Dominion stood frozen in the reception hall of the human vessel Wandering Star, his four eyes blinking in asynchronous confusion. Around him, human crew members went about their duties with casual efficiency, seemingly unaware that they had just committed what amounted to galactic treason. You do understand what you've done? Veltharuk's translator implant struggled to convey his mixture of horror and disbelief. You've entered Imperial space. Without authorization. Without tribute. Without even proper diplomatic credentials. Captain Sarah Mitchell looked up from her coffee, an earth beverage that Veltharuk had learned was somehow central to human civilization, and shrugged. Yeah, sorry about that. Navigation error. We were aiming for the Kepler cluster, but someone, she glanced meaningfully at her pilot, forgot to account for gravitational lensing around that neutron star. I said I was sorry. Lieutenant Chen called from the bridge. Veltharuk's translator chirped frantically, trying to process the captain's tone. There was no fear. No panic. No desperate pleading for mercy. Just mild annoyance at a navigational mistake. Captain Mitchell, Veltharuk said slowly, perhaps I haven't made myself clear. The Zephorius Dominion controls 14 star systems. Our fleet numbers in the thousands. Our emperor has crushed rebellions that span entire sectors. Species have been rendered extinct for lesser transgressions than unauthorized border crossing. Sarah took another sip of coffee. Sounds intense. Look, we really didn't mean to intrude. We'll just turn around and... You cannot simply turn around. Veltharuk's crest flared purple with agitation. Imperial law demands your immediate surrender. Your ship will be seized. Your crew will face tribunal. This is not negotiable. The bridge crew exchanged glances. Finally, Commander James Rodriguez spoke up from the tactical station. Ambassador, with all due respect, we're not really big on the whole surrendering thing. It's kind of against our nature. Your nature is irrelevant. The Dominion has 14 star systems, thousands of ships, crushed rebellions. Yeah, we got that part, Sarah interrupted gently. Here's the thing, Ambassador. We've been traveling through space for, 300 years now? We've encountered 47 different civilizations. 12 of them threatened to destroy us. 8 actually tried. And? Veltharuk asked, his voice barely a whisper. And we're still here. Sarah set down her coffee mug. Look, we don't want trouble. We genuinely apologize for the border violation. But we're also not going to surrender our ship and crew because we made a wrong turn. Veltharuk accessed his datapad with trembling appendages, pulling up Earth's file. It was embarrassingly thin. The humans were newcomers to galactic civilization, having only achieved faster-than-light travel a few generations ago. Their technology was but unremarkable. Their military forces seemed modest. Their territory consisted of one solar system and a handful of colony worlds. On paper, they were insignificant. You cannot possibly believe you can resist the Dominion, Veltharuk said, though his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Probably not in a straight fight, Sarah admitted. But here's what I think will happen. We'll defend ourselves if attacked. We'll likely lose our ship eventually. But first, we'll take down a few of your vessels. Maybe a lot of them. Humans are surprisingly good at fighting when cornered. Then word will spread that the Dominion attacked a peaceful exploration vessel for an accidental border crossing. No one would care, Veltharuk protested weakly. Maybe not now. But humans have this annoying habit of holding grudges. We also have this tendency to tell stories. Epic stories about great injustices. And then, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 50, when we're stronger, when we've made more allies, when our technology has advanced, Sarah leaned forward, we'll remember. And we'll care very much. Lieutenant Chan swiveled in his chair. My great-great-grandfather fought in the water wars on Mars. His side was outnumbered 5-1. They won because they refused to quit, even when quitting made sense. It's kind of our thing. Veltharuk's datapad chimed. He glanced at it and felt his circulatory system freeze. His superiors wanted a status report. He looked at the humans again, really looked at them. They weren't warriors. They were scientists, explorers, engineers. But in their eyes, in every single one of their eyes, he saw something that transcended logic or reason. They genuinely weren't afraid. It wasn't bravado or ignorance. They had assessed the situation, understood the threat, and simply decided that fear was counterproductive. Veltharuk had spent 20 cycles serving the Dominion, and he had seen countless species surrender before the Empire's might. He had watched civilizations beg for mercy, offer tribute, prostrate themselves before imperial authority. He had never seen anyone respond with a polite apology and a firm no. "I need to consult with my superiors," Veltharuk said finally. "Take your time," Sarah replied, pouring herself another coffee. "We're not going anywhere." "Well, except back toward human space, obviously." In the Imperial command ship Eternal Reign, High Admiral Zexthor reviewed Veltharuk's report with growing incredulity. The humans had refused surrender. They had acknowledged the Dominion's power and refused anyway. The Admiral's tactical officer had run combat simulations. The human vessel would be destroyed within minutes of engagement. But the tactical officer had also noted something interesting. The wandering star carried advanced sensor arrays and had been broadcasting its telemetry back to human space continuously since entering Dominion territory. They had detailed scans of Imperial ship configurations, weapon systems, and patrol patterns. "They're not trying to hide," the tactical officer observed. "They're studying us." Zexthor pulled up Humanity's file again, this time reading more carefully. The thin records suddenly looked different. The humans hadn't encountered galactic civilization by chance, they had sought it out, pushing into unknown space with a recklessness that bordered on suicidal. Of the 12 species that had threatened them, 8 had attacked. All 8 conflicts had ended in negotiated settlements. Not because the humans had won, they clearly hadn't possessed superior forces. But because they had fought with such ferocious tenacity that their opponents had decided that destroying them completely wasn't worth the cost. The humans lost battles but never wars, because they refused to acknowledge defeat. Zexthor made a decision that would later be studied in imperial military academies as either brilliant pragmatism or dangerous precedent. He opened a communication channel to the wandering star. "Captain Mitchell, this is High Admiral Zexthor of the Imperial Fleet. We have reviewed your situation." "Admiral," Sarah responded pleasantly. "I hope we can resolve this peacefully." "Indeed. The Dominion has decided to classify your presence as a diplomatic mission rather than an intrusion. You will be escorted to the nearest border and provided with updated navigational charts to prevent future accidents." "That's very generous, Admiral." "Thank you. However," Zexthor continued, "we would appreciate if you would agree to a cultural exchange. Perhaps your crew would consent to sharing information about Earth's history, technology, and defensive capabilities?" There was a pause. Then Captain Mitchell's voice returned, tinged with amusement. "Admiral, are you asking us for intelligence about humanity in exchange for letting us go? I prefer to think of it as mutual understanding." Another pause. "We can do that. Though I should warn you, our history is kind of violent and weird. We once had a war that started because someone threw a guy out a window." "I see. Nevertheless, we are interested." As the wandering star departed Dominion space 3 days later, escorted by Imperial vessels that maintained a respectful distance, Veltharuk stood on the bridge of the Eternal Reign with High Admiral Zexthor. "I don't understand, Admiral. We could have destroyed them. Why didn't we?" Zexthor watched the human vessel disappear into faster-than-light transit. "Because, Ambassador, the Dominion has crushed 47 rebellions over 3 centuries. We have destroyed civilizations, absorbed empires, and enforced order across our territories. We have fought species that outnumbered us, outgunned us, and possessed technology superior to our own. And we prevailed," Veltharuk said proudly. "Yes. But we have never encountered a species that looked at overwhelming force and remained genuinely unconcerned. Not dismissive. Not ignorant. Just unbothered. Zexthor turned to face his ambassador. The humans will become either our greatest allies or our most dangerous enemies. Today, we chose which one. Back on the Wandering Star, Lieutenant Chen finished updating the navigation system with the Dominion's charts. Captain, those coordinates they gave us are going to save us 3 months of travel time. Sarah smiled. See? Sometimes getting lost works out. You know they're going to tell every species in the region about us now, Commander Rodriguez observed. Good. Maybe next time we accidentally wander somewhere we're not supposed to be, they'll just give us directions instead of threatening to blow us up. Sarah raised her coffee mug in a mock toast. To humanity, too stubborn to know when we're beaten, too friendly to hold a grudge, and too curious to stay out of trouble. The bridge crew laughed, and the Wandering Star continued its journey through the galaxy, its crew blissfully unconcerned with the political earthquake they had just triggered in the Zephorius Dominion. Behind them, Admiral Zexthor added a note to humanity's file: approach with caution. Recommend diplomatic engagement. Do not threaten unless prepared to follow through. Species demonstrates concerning lack of survival instinct combined with remarkable adaptability and persistence. In the margins, he added a personal observation: they remind me of us, 3,000 cycles ago, when we were young and believed the galaxy owed us nothing but what we could take. The difference is, they seem to think the galaxy is their friend. I hope, for all our sakes, that they're right.